Welcome back, boys and girls, to the Madhouse. This is William here from Madness to the Method. Today I'm going to share with you what I believe to be the 5 best, or at least best value, cameras that Nikon ever made as of about 2021-2022 when this video was going out. If this is much later and you're watching this, well, I stand by what I said. The Nikon F3, produced from 1980 through to the end of 2000, and they were still being sold brand new as of about 2003. This is one of the most popular and produced professional 35mm SLRs ever made, with about 800,000 produced. Actually, that puts it about equal for the original Nikon F. These were the favoured cameras for photojournalists who are heading to war zones, and this is pretty much considered the Kalashnikov AK-47 of cameras, but I would, well, maybe not the Kalashnikov AK-47, maybe more like Mauser K98 of cameras. But my point stands, I believe. Now, I originally bought one of these brand new, well, not brand new, it was second hand in 2004. I paid about $650. And as of today, in late 2021, early 2022, that's pretty much what they're still selling for. This is one of the very few 35mm cameras that holds its value relatively well. The other I can think of is the Leica M6, which has gone absolutely crazy. But never mind, I'm more of a Nikon fan anyway. It's solid brass, you pick it up, it's so hefty, it feels like it's hewn from the solid. The meter is accurate. I've taken lots of wonderful pictures with Nikon F3s over the years. This is not the first one that I bought. This is actually the second that I have. This one was actually fished out of a recycling bin, if you can believe that or not. I was at a electronics recycling factory. I was sent there by the company I worked for, Endeavour Energy, to serve a disconnection order because they hadn't paid their electricity bill, and while I was waiting there for them to sort out their issues, so I didn't have to turn them off, I was looking through some of the bins, and I found a yellow strap attached to this. It was actually this yellow strap. And I pulled on it and I came up with this Nikon F3, not with the lens of course, that's a 50mm 1.2 AI, which I already had, just the body only, and it's actually in quite a lovely shape. I did have to buy that piece for it though. And it works absolutely perfectly and beautifully. Not bad for a freebie. But the point is, if you want an F3, you want a 35mm SLR to last you for decades, and you want one that's reasonably good value and holds its value, and you can get most of your money back if you sell it, this is the top choice that I think. There you go. Nikon F3. Absolute legend of a thing. Nikon D7100. Not a legend as such like the Nikon F3 we just looked at, but a very, very competent and very useful camera nonetheless. This was produced, say, between 2013 and 2015 when it was supplanted by the D7200. Now, the D7100 and D7200, for all practical purposes, are exactly the same camera, except the D7100 has a Toshiba sensor and the D7200 has a Sony sensor. In practical terms, that doesn't mean jack shit. Although for some reason the D7200 sells for several $100 more than the D7100, which you can get for about, in Australian dollars, between $400 and $500, which is astoundingly good value for what this camera is. This camera is actually the second of the one that I own. The output of this camera is absolutely amazing. Even in JPEGs, the colours are punchy, it's crisp, it's bright. There's no anti-aliasing filter to stuff up to your focus. And in fact, I'm filming on a D7100 right now. Not this one, of course, duh, but the other one that I've got. See, I've got 2 of them. And for my wedding photography, these are the main cameras that I use for ceremonies, because they're light. I can hook on some of the long glass and just hang back and shoot. and at 6 frames a second, I can get all the action in no trouble at all. And if it breaks, well, it's cheap to replace. I don't have to get a bank loan out to replace it. I don't have to claim for insurance. I don't have to wait for the repair guy several weeks to get back to me and then complain that he can't get the parts to fix it and he's got to wait a bit longer and I've got to wait for the camera. No, I'm just going to go to a pawn shop and get another one and keep on shooting. And if you want one of the very best Nikons today, in fact, come to think of it, over the past decade or so, sensor technology hasn't really progressed like the leaps and bounds that it did in the first decade. I mean, you wouldn't be... what was the camera 10 years before this? The Nikon D1? That was like 2 megapixels. This is 24. And what's the current enthusiast model now? The Z5? Z50? Which is also with 20 megapixels. It just deletes the mirror. But otherwise, it's, for practical purposes, it's the exact same bloody camera. You're not going to spend thousands of dollars on a Z50. Just... that's it. Dynamic range is awesome. You can do anything you want to. The high ISO is JPEGs are clean. You can take this around. It's light and handy. You can carry it around wherever you want. You can shoot it professionally, or you can just family gatherings or whatever. And with the standard kit lens being the 18-105 like this, I don't actually use this lens. I just stick it in a drawer because I have other better lenses for my work. But for general, you know, family gatherings and shootings, this will do just fine. And there it is, the D7100. Look at this. I've got the all your program modes. You don't have any of the stupid picture modes like on the enthusiast models. And yes, we've got the nice clear LCD. And yes, there is a crack in it because I dropped it on my foot. And I hurt my foot and it cracked the screen, but it still functions fully well. So I can wait to get that fixed. There you go. Score one of these for about $450. You're laughing. It's the best value to capability of any Nikon anywhere ever, and I would say this is my top #1 pick if you're looking for your first Nikon. Now, the Nikon D700, to some of you, needs absolutely no introduction. It is known as the legend. It has a semi-cult following all of its own. It is a full-frame 12 megapixel camera from 2008 to 2012. Like I said, I've already reviewed it, but I'm going to put it in this video simply for the sake of putting it in the video because I love this camera so very much. This is the second D700 that I own. I only bought this one 2 days ago. This one has about 32,000 actuations on it. The other one I've got has about 72,000 actuations. But it's absolutely meaty, fresh, clean, gorgeous. Yes. There we go. All the controls are there. It doesn't have video like the D7100 has. But if you've got a DSLR, what are you shooting video for? Oh wait, I'm shooting a video on a DSLR. I'm shooting on a DSLR right now. Duh. But I mean, like, you know, generally speaking, people don't shoot video on DSLRs. D700 has got to be the best full frame value Nikon that they ever made. It's like I got this one for $150, believe it or not. 150 Australian dollars. That is practically giving it away. And the other one I got for 300, so all in, less than 500 bucks. I mean, I paid nearly twice that for my D800E, which I'll be talking about a little bit later. Spoiler alert. The color, I mean, I don't know, something about the sensor in this that almost renders in a film-like quality. It's just the tonal graduations. It's absolutely beautiful. Skin tones go especially well with this, so it's an excellent portrait camera if you're looking to do that sort of thing, portraits. As you see, I have here with a 50mm 1.8 lens on it, which is less than $100 itself, so we're looking at $220 for some professional full frame capability right there for basically peanuts, or cashews. Actually, I prefer cashews, which is a little bit more, but whatever. See, you've got all your information up here. Instead of the MASP modes like you had on the D7100, you change the mode through here. Just mode button, M, P, S, A, as you do it, and you've got the three kings over here: ISO, white balance, quality. Yep. So it's very simple and easy to use. All the controls that you need are on the outside of the camera. You don't have to do much scrolling through menus. It's basically as basic as a 35mm SLR can get, and extremely capable. Low light performance is pretty good, even for a 12-year-old camera. And if you want to upgrade to a full frame camera and you don't have a crap ton of money, or like me, you're just Captain Tight Ass, well, here's the D700. That'll give you all the capability you need for not a lot of money. Although in some quarters I've actually seen them go for some ridiculous figures. Some guy wanted to sell me one for 800. I told him, well, what I told him I'm not going to repeat here. Although I have, yeah, I'm trying to moderate my swearing, thank you very much. There you go, D700. Get one. Camera number 4. Nikon D3s. This one I refer to as the Beast. Now it's basically, for operational purposes, the same as the D700. It has basically the same sensor, it has the same number of megapixels, 12.1. And well, it does kind of shoot video, but I haven't actually worked out how to shoot the video on this thing, because the video button isn't actually on the outside like on later Nikon, so I don't have to worry about it anyway, since I'm not going to use it for video. But this thing, unlike the D700, which run about 5 frames a second, this thing goes about 9. Or if you want to shoot in DX mode, 11. Look at this thing. I got this for 800 bucks. Well, 850 or thereabouts. It is super clean, 42,000 actuations. You know, for that price I was expecting it to be absolutely beat to shit. I only bought it because I wanted a spare camera in case one of my D800s went down. Because the D800 is usually what I shoot for portraits. You know, bridal portraits and all that sort of thing. But hey, who doesn't like this? If you're looking for a professional camera to do sports or action, I don't really shoot sports or action, but it's nice to know that I have the capability to do that if I needed to. And sometimes that's all you need to, that's all the reason you need. I mean, even at $1,500, this would be an astounding bargain for what it is. D3, D3s, I mean, you think about the later models of professional Nikon, the D4 and the D5, which are incremental improvements, but you have to pay, even for a D4, you have to pay more than twice, you pay at least twice that. And D5, D6, forget it, it's like close to 10 grand. For an incremental improvement for a crap ton more money, no, not worth it. If you're looking for a professional camera, a backup or your first, because you want to start your wedding photography, or like I did, here's a good choice to consider, if you can find a clean one. Like, the average they seem to be going for is about 800, between 800 and 1400, depending on condition. Come to think of it, this one, 1500. They could have built me that and I would have paid it. But I was very surprised. As soon as I saw it, I just said, that's coming home with me. And I pulled my wallet, man. There's just no way I couldn't, I mean, that was my, what can I say? This is one of my favourite professional series cameras. In digital, I mean. Nikon D800E, 36.3 megapixels of awesome. This was made from about 2012 to 2014, when it was replaced with the D810, or rather the D800 and the D800E were made concurrently. The only real difference between them is that the D800 had an anti-aliasing filter and this doesn't. But in operational use, there's not really much difference to pick between them. I actually own both D800 and the D800E, and those are my primary weapons of choice for weddings and events. This camera, to get a good clean one, would be about $800, and that's what I paid for this. Because that's pretty much the most I'm going to pay, because I'm Captain Tight Ass. I mean, it has the same rendition, the same output basically as a D810 for equivalent ISO settings. and you're going to pay what, a half again more for a D810. I mean, the D810 is an awesome camera, don't get me wrong, but they're just a little bit more expensive than they need to be, I think. And for about half, well, not that much less money, you can have one of these. Look at it. It's full frame. The output is absolutely amazing. It's sharp, it's crisp. Their autofocus is, well, it's not as snappy as the D3s that we just saw briefly, but for portraits you don't really need the fast autofocus, do you? You're not tracking a fast moving subject unless the bride is running away really fast. Well, what can I say to that? I've had some crazy wedding shoots. But this has served me through a whole lot of stuff, because this one is just worn, nicely brassed and beaten up. And if you're looking for high resolution megapixel range, this is the #1 pick, and is my absolute favourite camera. My ride to die, I would say. D800E. Get one. You get one and just thank me later. Oh yeah, by the way, there is a caveat. Some of them had the back focusing issue with their autofocus sensor. You've got to actually test for that before you actually hand your money over and take delivery. This one is perfectly fine. My D800 has that issue a little bit, but if you use the live view function, it's not really much of an issue, because it actually seems to be coming through the OVF, not the whatever. It's just whatever. There you go. Just be careful what you get if you get one, but get one. It's all good. Well, there you are, boys and girls. These are my top 5 value versus capability top picks for buying and selecting a Nikon. Bloody hell.